who tested positive for West Nile virus and Eastern equine encephalitis. Today, 13 News Now reporter Megan Shin spoke with experts about what you need to do to lower your risk of exposure. Megan.
David, the obvious tips to protect yourself from getting infected include staying inside, wearing loose, long, and light-colored clothing, tips I didn't follow, and using insect repellents with DEET. I did follow that one. And although the chances of you catching West Nile and Eastern equine encephalitis are low, officials say the key to staying disease-free is being proactive.
The mosquito pressure has been worse than ever.
Mosquito season started early this year.
Seems a little scarier than normal, but the mosquitoes have been out and biting and breeding since March.
Suffolk residents now face the threat of mosquitoes infecting them with the diseases West Nile virus and Eastern equine encephalitis, also called EEE. Now the mosquito sprayers are even busier in the city. Did it surprise you?
No. Every year you have mosquito pools that do test positive for West Nile virus and Eastern equine encephalitis.
Amal Patel is the Suffolk district epidemiologist. He says Virginia sees an average of 11 West Nile virus cases in the state per year. He says between 2009 and 2016, there's only been one case of EEE in Virginia.
It is a serious illness, but it is very rare.
Patel says there's a less than 1% chance for people to get severe symptoms from this disease. However, the health department says horses are at risk and should be vaccinated. So you can stay inside or grab the bug spray. But either way, be proactive.
The biggest target area we see is under decks. Mosquitoes like damp, shady areas, and accumulating garbage and keeping heads trimmed. Those simple things make a huge difference to eliminating the source of the problem.
And if you do have any standing water, the city of Suffolk offers dumping stations, and those are located at the firehouse, the city libraries, and at City Hall. For more information on mosquito protection, go to our website, 13newsnow.com. In the studio, Megan Shin, 13 News Now.